All right. Good morning, Oga Wale Adeyemo. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
It's interesting. There's something you did for me in my career. I'm going to tell you now. You don't know, but I'm going to tell you. There was a day there's a brand I was working for as an intern, just like an
Yeah.
associate marketing person. You came there to speak to our campus ambassadors. So you said one thing, and that thing has been in my head. It's still in my head till now. I'm still using it
Wow.
every day. I always tell my friends every time that if you can put this thing in your mind every time, I don't think you can fail in tech. So I was new
Yeah.
into tech that time. I think I was 8 months into tech, into my marketing career. So you said there's no tech company that is not hiring. That
Yeah.
every tech company is hiring at every time. That
Yes.
you just need to make yourself so valuable enough for them that they will create a space for you.
For you.
So every
Yes.
time that I don't have a job, that time I don't have a job, I don't have a paying job, I was interning.
Yeah.
So that just stuck to me even till now. Maybe when I apply for something and I didn't get it, I'll just tell myself that I'm not valuable enough. I don't think that company is not hiring because
Yeah.
when I started using that thing that you said, when I started applying it to my life, I take my learning so seriously, and it changed
Mm.
everything. So I don't know if you want to speak more about that.
Yeah. I mean, it's just my experience as a founder. It's my experience mentoring people. It's my experience also learning from my mentors. Every time I've seen that from my own, at my level as a founder, it's very, 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 very difficult, if not impossible, for our team to be complete. There's always a missing part, right? Either a role is still missing in terms of we don't have anyone for that role at all, or we have somebody for that role, but the scope of work is improving, right? And I think that's just the same with every organization. Every organization is always hiring because the raw material that you need to produce your goods and services, your tech, whatever it is people. So tell me who says no to raw materials. Tell me who says no to what you need to produce. So if you have value, even if we don't have a spot or a vacancy, it's just a matter of okay, come in first and let's see what will happen. We hardly, just turn people away and say, oh, this person is so valuable, then we are not going to take a look. Same thing with like my mentors, people I look up to that run company. The same thing because the biggest problem you have as a founder or as a business owner, your biggest problem is people. Your biggest asset is also people. So when you find a valuable person, definitely you are going to do everything possible. So companies are always hiring, right? Companies are always looking for valuable people, and that is the truth. Anyhow you want to look at it, the timing might not be absolutely, they might tell you so that okay, can you volunteer, we're not going to pay you, but trust me, maybe after 3 months, because they don't want you to leave. Or they can say, oh, can you intern, oh, can you join as a junior or associate this just for now. So I think if everybody trying to like go into tech or get their first job, if they have that mindset, they are definitely going to, get their first job or their first. It's just real, it's just fact. Nobody turns value away, nobody throws. If my biggest problem is people, my team might necessarily not be giving me any problem or headache or anything, right? But for me to get to the next level, for me to hit my revenue goal this year, maybe I need to do more marketing, I need to create more content, I need to churn out more design, I need to write, more copies, I need to create more videos, or something. Or maybe I need a redundancy on my engineering team, and this very smart mobile guy just walks up to me or get referred to me, right? I'm definitely not going to say no, I don't want to work with you, right? Because as a founder, I'm seeing the future of my company and I know the future, I will need more resources. Top on that resource list is people. So the issue is always those guys or people looking for the opportunity. They don't want to continue to add value to themselves. They don't want to continue to learn. They don't want to continue. As you add more value to yourself, it gets to a point that even companies that will say no to you, they will say that no with a painful heart. They will say that no maybe from a budget perspective that hey, We don't have a budget for, but trust me, they will keep your resume or portfolio in their pipeline. Eight times out of ten, they are definitely, going to do that. So yeah, it's true in my experience.
It is true in my own experience. I'm telling you now, right? Because I don't have a paying job when you said that. I do not. I think it was around August. I think I got my first paying job around October. So it was like
Wow.
2 months space time. Yes, to that time. It's something I always remember. I remember it always. It just comes to my mind because we were just on Google Meet that day and you said it. So
Yeah.
and I took it so seriously. Even till now that I can call myself a mid-level marketing person. I still apply it to my life because it just keep ringing in my head that if Google
Yeah.
cannot hire me right now, it's not because Google is not hiring. It's because I'm not
Yeah.
valuable to Google.
That's the
So so most of the time, that's how I look at it. That's how I look at it. I tell my friend one something when I told him that this is what I do when I was trying to get into tech. Look, he got into Web3. And I told him to always write content about Web3 and just post it on his Twitter account. And he kept doing that and he kept doing that. And I told him that, look, every of these crypto people, they are IR, you know. You just need to make yourself valuable for them.
that's the
And
fact.
yeah, I told him, for me, for example, when I was trying to get into tech, any interview I go to and they did not employ me, I don't blame them. I blame myself. I just tell myself that I'm not valuable enough for them. So I just go back to consider and go find a course or with them and go find another course to take. I
Yeah.
just tell myself I'm not good, you know. I'm not good. So I told him, and he took that seriously too. He got a job. A job that I was so surprised. Yes, he got a job between November and December. He got a job in December by simply doing that. So it makes it
That's
it makes it so it's not like something that is set in stone for me. That anybody I see that wants to get into tech, I'll just tell them that look, somebody told me this a time ago that every company you see is hiring. Every company you see is hiring. All of them. You just need to be valuable enough for them to always try to seek it. Provided you are not a senior person or you are not a let me say founder, but you are looking for a job. For everybody that is looking for a job, you just need to be the competition might now be different. I'm
yeah.
thinking it might be different. Yes, maybe for a mid-level person now, your competition is not tighter. You have to still look for it that which other skill can I learn to
Yeah.
be ahead of my competitor. There's
Yeah.
so one of the things I want to ask you that is, is it about personal development skills or professional skills? You know, a lot of
Hmm.
people want to yes. What are those values? Are they just professional skills or personal development skills like communication and co?
So I think as you go upward in your career, the skill is going to change. It's going to change not necessarily because you are going to drop A for B. You see, at the beginning of your career, you need a lot of technical skill. You have to know yourself. You have to know your stuff. Why? Because entry level is flooded. You have a lot of people at that entry level. Companies don't sweat to get entry level talent because they are everywhere. I just need to make a tweet now that I need a product design intern or I need a front end engineer intern. I'm going to get right. So because that place is so congested, you have to be able to show that beyond what my CV is telling, this is what my portfolio is showing, this is what I can do, this is what so at that point you have to continue to hone your technical skill. If you're a designer, you just have to continue improving, continue getting better, continue doing all of those stuff, right? It doesn't mean you have to neglect the soft skill part. So it's very basic things like knowing how to write a mail or knowing how to write a message. Somebody wrote me a message on Twitter, and after reading that message, I just couldn't say no to this person. Because look, like you settle down to write, you write so your thought is just so organized, it's just so you have to learn how to write, you have to learn how to communicate, you have to learn workspace etiquette, you have to learn this basic stuff. So but as you go up your career, now you have your first job, you are moving from junior to probably some mid-level. You need more than technical skill at this point, and unfortunately I think this is where a lot of people's career hit a ceiling. They are not able to go beyond that point. For a mid-level, you need to start improving on your people skill because now you're working with people, you're working in a team, you're collaborating. Maybe other departments or teams are even dependent on your deliverable. You need more than just technical skill at that point. You need to be able to collaborate within a team. You need to be dependable. You need emotional intelligence. You need how to communicate. You need to know how to communicate with other persons. You need cultural thinking or cultural awareness, right? Depending on the kind of company you're working or the size. So you have people who are coming from different places. Even in Nigeria, the culture is still not the same. You need to be able to work in a culturally diverse team. You're working on your team, you have a Muslim, you have a Christian, you have somebody from the north, from the south. How do you collaborate effectively? So you need cultural awareness. You need conflict management skill because conflict is definitely going to happen anywhere two or more persons have, well, any kind of relationship, friendship, man and woman, co-workers, colleagues, there's nothing you can, even between you and God, there's conflict. God created a way for us to resolve. So I think this is where a lot of people, they just hit that career ceiling, they can't go further, right? And they will be on the team, they have all the technical skill. So, but when it's time for promotion or to probably take somebody to management or lead or something, uh, they are not just shortlisted or nominated because they lack the skill for that next level. You need to know how to communicate articulately, how to communicate, in a way that people will understand what you're saying. Communication seems simple, but it's one of the hardest things. It's not just about talking or writing a mail or typing on Slack, right? You need to be able to communicate clearly, especially when you're getting to that mid level. You now have juniors, right? You need to be able to also mentor, your juniors, interns, right? One good test that I use in my company for you as an employee to know if you're growing is, can I pair an intern with you? Can I pair a copper with you? So if you can't, or if I don't have that confidence too, then if you call yourself a mid-level, I think it's just title. You also need some stakeholder management skill because at some point your what you are doing as a person or as a team is a deliverable that another team needs to do their stuff, right? Now you have another team, so take marketing for instance. There's marketing team, there's sales team. Sales team is dependent on marketing and marketing is sitting between sales team and management. So how do you manage all these stakeholders? For some companies, they have like a content team, right? So that content team produces the graphics, the videos, the this, the that. Now the content team has to deliver that deliverable or those deliverables, videos and the like for marketing team. Marketing team needs to be able to launch their campaign, test, track, improve for sales team to have leads to speak to. So you can see the interconnectedness of this whole thing. Sometimes marketing also have like a thing to do with engineering. So you've been hearing something from the market. Your customers are saying, look, this feature is this or this thing is broken. So how do you manage all these internal stakeholders? This is another skill that you need to learn as you go up your career. Another thing, in my opinion, is project management. Everything in life is a project, right? And people just trivialize, they don't see the need to go and learn. Project management is just simple. How do you manage resources? How do you manage schedule? How do you manage risk? Because there's risk, right? People approach their job with zero sense of risk. For a marketer, there's a risk that the 5 million budget given to you is not going to give you the ROI. That risk is always there, no matter how good your strategy, might be. How do you manage it, right? How do you manage your time? So you have a lot of things to do. How do you know the important and the urgent? How do you know which to prioritize? How do you know which can wait? How do you know which should be delegated? Your 80-20 principle. How do you know the 20% of things that if you do it, will be responsible for 80% of your outcome? Such that you don't spend all your effort and time doing the 80% that will only give 20% of results. So these are very critical skills that as you go up that career ladder, you need to learn them alongside your technical skills. So it doesn't mean now that because you have all these things to learn and improve on, and the like, then you are not involved with the latest in marketing. You're not involved with how AI is changing everything. You're not involved with what is changing on Meta Business Suite if you're a digital marketer, for instance. You're not involved with what's happening with SEO, and stuff like that. So I just think like these many things that people have to learn is the reason why people get stuck, especially in industries like tech where things like move really, 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 really fast. And of course, we don't have a culture of learning in this part of. I mean, I can't remember the last time I was in a plane or bus and I see anybody with a book or something. We don't read. Once we get the job, we just feel like,
Yeah,
hey, you've not learned. If I want to rate a marketer, I will ask you, what are you reading? What blog are you reading? What marketing blog? Whose newsletter are you subscribed to? What website do and things like that. Ask 10 people, not just marketing, across all roles. They will struggle to answer that question. So the knowledge they had that got them that job 1 year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago is still the same thing that they have today. They've not learned anything new. Even what they learn, sometimes they learn accidentally. And what I mean accidentally is that, oh, they have a problem at work. Then they have to go and learn something to solve that problem. They didn't learn because learning is part of their growth plan, or no, they didn't learn because learning is habitual. They learn as need arise. Oh, I noticed something has changed on Meta. Let me go and find one article, or let me go and ask Google how to do this thing, right? So they learn, but trust me, that thing they learn, immediately they solve that problem, 80% of the time, in my opinion, they just drop it. Then when next they have a crisis, they'll go and look for, they learn it again. So it's just very difficult as you go up that career. You have a lot of things, soft skill, you know, technical skill, none must suffer. Otherwise, you will be stuck.
honestly, you don't justice to this thing. Like seriously, I like I like the way you articulate all of these things. I like the way you articulated all of these things because it feels like you're talking to me. I'm a mid-level person, so it feels like you're talking to me. Because from my experience, there's this false sense of arrival that gets into your head where you're at that level. Say maybe you start earning 500,000, 400,000 naira a month. People now invite you to speak on Twitter Spaces. You know, you now have little people. There's mentees here and there.
Yeah,
They now call you team lead at work. There's this I think I
yeah,
experienced that at a particular level, and I just have to knock myself back. Like, no, 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 I'm not there. I'm not there. It's just like I said the other time. If I want to work for Google right now, will they employ me? And I told myself no. So whatever team lead they are calling me, bro, you're not there. You're not there. So I have to go back to like start watching back my YouTube videos. I watch YouTube videos every day. Then so I stopped. I literally stopped. Like you're saying now, just like I said, you're talking to me. I try to stop watching YouTube videos. Watching YouTube videos every day was how I got into marketing. Every blessed day, I do it before anything. Then I stopped because I'm now busy. There's this excuse I can give myself. You are busy now. You are team lead. Yeah, you are leading this team. You are leading that team now. You are busy. This is not good because you cannot be too busy to learn because if you are not adding more things, you are just stuck there and you can't go forward. Which I think is
yeah,
actually affecting a lot of people, not just people that are cross coming out. I know that energy to learn at first will be there. I don't have a job. I need to feed myself. That hunger will be there. Until you get that job and then you become maybe team lead. They just make you on social media team lead.
I think team leads, in my opinion, I think sometimes probably team leads are usually, if I want to plot a graph for them, like the graph starts like this, goes up, it gets to a point, it just remains flat, right? Then after a while,
Sure.
it starts to fall. Because I think team lead, a lot of times, they are not even the smartest people, on the team. And the reason they became a team lead is a lot of time because of knowledge, because of skills and expertise, but they stop doing that thing. So after a while, they become stale. After a while, they start to drop. And at that point, you start seeing juniors, you start seeing people on their team. because those ones want to grow. They are always learning, they are always researching. If you say one thing, they will go and learn it. After a while, they catch up with their team lead. Their team lead can no longer command their respect. And it's not like some personal respect now. I mean some professional. I mean, if I'm your marketing lead, for instance, I should come to a marketing meeting or strategy meeting and wow all of you and make you think about everything you thought you knew. You know, everything you bring, I will get you to question everything. So the moment that I can no longer do that, the respect, the knowledge gap is what makes you a team lead now. The difference between me and probably the CEO of a multi-billion dollar company most times is a knowledge gap, right? There are other factors too, so, but there's something that person knows. The moment I bridge that knowledge gap, there's a very high chance that other things, other factors, of course, being equal, I'll be close to that person. The moment I'm close to that person, the knowledge gap, the adoration that I used to have, the respect that wow, is going to
Correct.
reduce.
Correct.
And the moment you can't lead your team again, the moment you just see like productivity, results, everything will start to like decline. People stop doing what they used to do that made them
Correct.
timid.
I stopped.
That is what I'm
I
doing.
said I stopped.
Yeah,
I'm a company.
people stop because we have excuses now to say, oh, I'm busy, oh this, oh that, oh this, oh that. You have those excuses. But the thing about life is excuses are excuses.
Mm.
You can have all the excuses in the world. It's not synonymous, it's not equals to doing what you should do. So I can say, oh, did you study today? You can say, no, oh, I was busy. Did you study tomorrow? Oh, no, I was sick. Next tomorrow, did you study? Oh, there was no light. Fine, your excuses are valid. But the knowledge you should have acquired from the study, you won't have it. No matter how I understand your excuses or your reasons, if you don't have it, you don't have it. So I just think that's an issue in tech. As people go upward, they stop learning.
You're absolutely right. I'm not I'm talking about myself right now. You're absolutely. I mean I stopped.
Yeah,
It became a lot of.
yeah,
I became a mess of myself, and I had to just pick up myself and tell myself again that come, because it's that question that I always ask myself. The next big company, if Apple want to hire me today, am I valuable? No. So I just say I'm not there. I'm not there.
yeah,
When it comes to marketing, I'm not there. When and there's this false sense
yeah,
of tags, things like I just that's why most of the time when I'm talking to my client, I always tell them I don't need the tag for me to operate. I don't need you to call me your business development manager for me to do business development things. I don't need to. There's one of my earliest company that I still work with right now. I got in as an email marketer, and from email marketing, I started running ads. From running, I started doing SEO. From doing SEO, started doing Google Ads and Facebook. So before I was given the tag of digital marketer, I'm already doing digital marketer work as an email specialist role. So when I started doing the work
mm,
of a growth person, I don't need the tag for me to operate in that capacity. So most of the time, I feel these tags always make us very delusional. Things like CMO makes you delusional. You think you are there. I actually believe a lot of
you know, those titles, that C, you see, if you bring that title down, people carry that C and forget the MO. Your real work is a marketing officer. If that chip enters your head, you'll be in trouble.
yeah,
So I wish people can carry their, I mean, something applies to founder, CEO, all these titles. Titles are good, especially for employees. It gives a sense of growth, it gives a sense of career, okay, I used to be this, now I'm this, I'm this, tomorrow I'll be that. It gives that sense of so, but it gets into people's head. Marketing lead, people focus on the lead. Marketing manager, the manager,
manager.
CMO. We just forget the fundamental that look, I'm a marketer, I'm
Yeah,
a marketing officer. That C is just an appendix. Marketing is what I do. So I agree with you. That's one thing with titles. It has a way of just getting into our head.
honestly. let's talk about data analytics, what you do. For example, to a layman, how will you explain data analytics? What will you say it is? I kind of know it influences our everyday life, but I don't think every layman sees it that way.
Hmm. So a layman, what I'm going to tell you about data analysis is I will tell you that's one thing, or that's one job, or that's one discipline or career that you brought from heaven and that you and God you are doing. Every single person is a we like to like make it again. Yeah, it's again in some way. But data analysis is as basic. Oh, what should I wear today? You're doing what should I wear today one because they are option. When you are doing what should I wear, you are doing a comparative analysis. You are saying that oh today I'm going to fly bike. I can't wear a heel. You just analyze some data. You just analyze that, oh, I have a shoe that is flat, I have a shoe that has a heel, and I'm going to travel by bike. Heel will not be nice. So long you're making decision, everybody, so long you are making decision down to what should I eat today, and you say, okay, let me eat rice, but your wife reminded that she be rice like gelato. That person just referenced an historical data that, oh, we had rice yesterday. If we eat it again this morning, let's give you some space, right? So it's everywhere. Where should we live in? You check the price of accommodation. I'm earning 1 million in a month. My per annum is 12 million. I'm living in Lagos. There's no way logically that I should go and rent a house of 8 million because my salary cannot take it because my total per annum is 12 million. The moment I make decisions like that, I'm using different kind of data. I'm using my salary data. I'm using house rent. I'm using other obligation, maybe my feeding, maybe my societal obligation, my family obligation. I put all those things together and I arrive at the conclusion that says that, oh, ilé 8 million, what you for me? I just analyze data. Is that simple for everybody? Or what school should I take my child to? And I calculate that, oh, this school is 1 million. My annual income is probably 12 million. So if I'm paying 1 million per year for my child education, I think my salary can carry it. But now when I have three children, I can now say, no, I can't pay 3 million, out of my 12 million. The moment you make decisions like this, you just analyze data. You can even go ahead and say, oh, I will pay the 3 million out of my 12 million, even though it doesn't seem to like financial sense. But because of the investment, you see it as an investment that you are making into your kids' future. And you believe that the return will outweigh the whatever money you're spending today, right? And you go ahead and you pay it. And people are criticizing you that how much is your salary? Don't always cooking it. What you have that they don't have is data. You have a data about the future. You feel like in the future, this thing I'm doing is an investment, it's going to pay off. So that data is influencing your decision today. You are deciding to like take the pain today, do all of these things today. So data is what everybody, every single person in this life is one job that all of us is one job that we all do. So when you try to make data that simple, I think people start to like embrace it more. People start to see it like, look, it's not just something that is for mathematical. Of course, things get complex, things get more support at the fundamental. Everything companies use data for is what I just described. So the company wants to forecast their sales and revenue, right? They look at historical data. How much did we make last year? How much did we invest into marketing? What's our team size? How many customers do we have? If we want to make times 10 of this money, we need to increase our marketing. We need to do this. So the outcome of it for you as an individual is decision making. The outcome of it for an organization is decision making. So it's just varying, right? So we are all data people. We are all doing data. So long you're living, so long you're breathing, you wake up, you decide to get off your bed, you decide to do this. All those decisions, something informs them. They are not just flowing like no. So everybody does data in my opinion. Data is everybody's business, whether you like it. Marketers do data a lot, campaigns, you measure. You look at your dashboard, look at your number of leads, look at your number of clicks, look at your conversion. If it's a video, you look at, watch through rates, how many people watch for 30 seconds. You start using that insight to improve on your copy. So maybe you say, okay, let me create another video with a stronger hook. Maybe it's the hook, if I use another hook, maybe the hook will draw them and they will stay, right? Or let me edit it and add some liveliness here and there. So long you're doing that as a marketer, we just didn't tell you. You are also a data analyst, but we just didn't tell you. We are just calling you a marketer, but at the end of the day, you are a data analyst. Product designers, you do like your usability test. You design a feature or a page, you take it to user. Oh, what do you think about this? Oh, can you find this button? You are collecting data from there. Just like you are collecting qualitative data, and they tell you that, I find it difficult to locate this button. Oh, I saw this button, but I don't know that's what it means. Then you go back, either you change the icon, you change the position, you change the color, and things like that. You are just using data to do your work because your end users have told you that, hey, we've struggled to find this button, right? So even as a product designer, we just didn't tell you you are a data, you are a data analyst. And these apply HR, you are doing churn. How many people has left the company? How do we boost productivity? We do employee survey. What do you guys like about the company? What do you not like? This. Then you are using that to now come back and go to management and say, oh, I think we need to start doing office party. I think we need to bring games. I think we need to start doing like data allowance. All those decisions, something informed them. That thing that informed them is data. So as an HR professional, again, I'm sorry we didn't tell you the truth. The truth is that you are also a data analyst. So across all roles, across organizations, instructors in your class, you look at, oh, who does the assignment, who is active in class, who is this, who is that, and you are going to use that to predict their performance in an exam. And most times, as you predicted, that's the way. Teachers are usually not surprised by the first class students. You don't become a first class student accidentally, right? Lecturers usually know them because they are the ones that do assignment and do all this stuff. So all those knowing, all those stuff, they are data. So by the time they want to predict that, exam yìí le gan, but kò sí bó ṣe lè le, Kẹ́mi máa gba 60. Kẹ́mi máa gba 60 yẹn based on past experience. They know Kemi is always punctual, always writing notes, always asking questions in class, always submitting assignments. By the time you put all those things together, you now say, oh, Kemi Shama gba 60. Oh, what's Agba B? Again, we just didn't tell you to. You are a lecturer, but you are a data analyst. So everybody is a data person. Everybody does data. I think where people get confused is the two. For everything I've described, most times it's your brain. The brain is the most complex tool for data analysis. Excel is a tool for data analysis, Python, all this stuff. People are scared of those tools, and I think that tool is really what we in the industry we used to like camouflage people and feel like you have to learn this, you have to learn this, and stuff. So the volume of data too, so you're making decisions just for yourself, the data points are few. Unlike marketing, that several different factors can come into play, even factors not within your control, you know, can come into play. So at that point, you now need to use a tool that all these data can I put them on the tool that can make it. So I think that's the way I will explain data to a layman. It's very simple, it's very basic, everybody does it.
Wow. It's also interesting because you just break it down. I didn't see it from that perspective, honestly, from the perspective that, oh, we use it. I know we use it every day, but it's something we were all brought from heaven and something we do every day from that end. Honestly, your wife is actually analyzing data. That's why she feel like she will not cook rice today and cook rice the next day, and she honestly,
That's the point.
honestly,
It's so basic. Data is in our everyday
it
life,
is.
down to the kind of song you listen to.
It is.
You just wake up in the morning and you feel like, wow, it's strange to be listening to Sheyi vibes, this 6 a.m. Laro. It's somehow, even on Sunday, everybody tries to play
Yeah,
Sulen,
Dr.
gospel
Larry on
music,
Sunday and
and Early in the morning, you see people play Tokwe Alabi, people play Hill song, and stuff because your mood, your emotion in the morning, it's that time that your spirit, soul, and body is calm. You are expecting something for the day. The moment you go into your day, Ashake will come in, and all those. So this data is everywhere.
Honestly, one of the things that helped me in my marketing career is because I studied statistics. I always tell
Yeah,
people that's one thing that helped me because naturally I just focused on the numbers. I did not know
yeah,
I'm that that's I don't know that I have an edge that way because at the end of the month I will just prepare. Even when I was as small as email marketing person, I will prepare a report and I'll just send it to my CEO, and she will be like, I'm just handling emails. Like I just send out emails. I'll prepare their report because I'll look at the clicks, the click through rate, the amount of open, what should we do next? This is the email I sent that brought in the most sales. Naturally, this is like my early days of my marketing team. And I was not even a team lead then. Nobody asked me to prepare any reports. I'm just curious. I'm curious about the numbers. And then this has been a part and parcel of me
yeah.
up to now that I'm now leading teams and all. And one of the things you explained just now that spark in my brain is how HR could use data. And I'm thinking, everybody needs to go study this thing. Like, not in depth per se, but somebody else to. I think everybody needs to pick up a data course. I don't know what it.
I agree, like, because look, at some point, I don't even think that point is far again. The same way everybody needs digital literacy now, at the fundamental, you need to be able to solve the internet, you need to be able to use, desktop publishing, type document, PowerPoint. Everybody needs data literacy. Anything you are doing, you're a business owner, you need data literacy because you're dealing with data every day. Data is not just for the big guys, like, oh yeah, it's not just for the big guys. Everybody needs data literacy, right? As an employee, as an executive assistant, as it's just a way of life. You just need that data literacy, even for your personal life, right? Your finances, how do you manage it? Your bills. A lot of people are working through their finances. They can't tell this where their money is going to. They just know that okay, I earn money come in and I spend. I spend on different things. Ask an average Nigerian, what's your food, your feeding, how many percent of your income? Ask people how much do you spend on transport per month. People cannot answer you right there on the spot. They have to think, they have to date, It's a culture thing. Like data is everybody just needs to carry that data. It's a data thinking, data lifestyle kind of thing. So yes, I think everybody should. We are putting a course together for data literacy for everyone, and uh, hopefully we launch it next month or in 2 months. Yeah, yes, yeah, that's accurate learning. It's just a team. Data is a team. Data is a team.
Correct, correct. I would like when that course will drop. Honestly, the data literacy for everyone. I think that's something subtle
Yeah,
that everybody can just pick up, just like you learning how to operate your phone. Something subtle, right? I don't think it will be complex at all.
exactly. Yeah,
Awesome, awesome. So I want to go to how you yourself started. I study statistics.
yeah,
I'm in marketing. But you study computer science. Why are you not writing code?
yeah. I mean, there's always this. Again, I've written code even way before I got into full. By the way, but I just think like we all evolve. We all evolve as we improve our capacity, as we learn, as we find purpose, as we align, with God's purpose and plans for our lives. When you do that, it's going to require a different version of you. How did I start? Again, I'm not from a wealthy home, but I think I I'm also not from a poor home, so I have a lot of privileges. Both parents are extremely, they are, they are educated. They gave me access. I had like solid education. They invested in my education. I'm grateful. I have access to computer like very early. I had access to books very early. And if there's something that really maybe affected me was the fact that while growing up, if you come to my house to greet me and you spend 30 minutes, they will find a book for you. They will give you a book. So people don't used to visit me. My friends don't used to. Once they get
You know, they can't watch TV.
once, so once you get to the front of my house, you just go. So everything readable, I have to read it. Everything they bring from my dad, newspaper, anything that has letter on it, I have to read it. And a lot of time I have to like read to his hearing, so he will correct me, and stuff. So I had access to books on time, like very, 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 very early. And one thing this book does is that it opens your mind. I've not seen anything as powerful. Maybe for some of the listeners that are Christians, I think after salvation, like God dying, Jesus Christ dying for you, I think the next most powerful thing in life is book. If you want to change any man, if you want to change any nation, if you want to change any, give them books. But it's so unfortunately that they said about us, black people, that if you want to hide something from a black man, hide it in a book, then give him the book. He will never read it. If you want to hide something from a black man, put it in a book, then give him that book to keep it. He will never open it. You know, book is just so phenomenal. So I read about Bill Gates, business at the speed of thought. I read about Warren Buffett. I read about Michael Dell. I read about Elon Musk. I read about Steve Jobs. I read about so many people. Where I had this encyclopedia of everything from geography to health to politics to very big stuff. So I had this thing that I was always reading. So I had access to books, access to book. Averagely, I think for the past maybe 10, 15 years, there's hardly a year that I don't read like maybe 35 to 50 books sometimes. There's
These are,
hardly.
these are business books, psychology books. So
Yeah, sometimes. So I read about anything that you can imagine, because encyclopedia really opened my mind to like a lot of things. I know a few things about geography. I know a few things about politics. I know a few things about health. I know a few things about you know. So that book like really did wonder. Then access to computer at a very early age, access to the internet.
mhm.
I saw MySpace, I saw i5, I saw Skimmy, I saw LimeWire, AOL, Yahoo Messenger, all this stuff, right? I used the diskette of 256 kilobyte, the black something. You can't find it again. I've had computers since then. I had a full set of computer at some point. So if you combine that with education, you combine that with books, you just realize that there is a lot more that you can do with your life than coding,
Yeah.
right? Just, I think one of my biggest problems is I can go several different directions in life, and by God's grace, I think I will succeed. It's a problem at the same time. It's a blessing, but that stuff is courtesy of books. That stuff is courtesy of exposure, intentional parenting. I always like give that kudos to my parents, right? Because after secondary school, I was pushed to a leadership academy, while everybody wanted to like go straight to university and rush and finish school. I went to a leadership school for like 1 year. I was just learning different unconventional things. I got into entrepreneurship like very, 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 very early too. You know, uh, I had a small business when I was in secondary school that was making a lot of money. In secondary school, I had the business, all sorts of business. At some point, I was selling CD. Even though I was in a boarding house, I had a friend that was a day student who bring the CD, I will sell it. And it's good money because when you talk about stories like this, people always look at it like it's some small
Yeah.
business. I says three, I sold bed sheets. That bed sheet was imported from the UK.
Wow.
And way back then, I made a profit of more than 14 million from selling bed
Wow.
sheets. Yeah, and I
You're
was a
an
student
interesting
at
person.
the time. So it's just some opportunity that came. It's not like a business that I went into. Um, Post secondary school, somewhat I ran like a water company for my uncle. Like my uncle ran the water company, and this water is very popular in Niger State. If you've been to Niger State, say within 2004, 11, 12, 13. It's a very big water business. I co-ran it with my cousin. We moved that company from having just one truck to deliver to like having like 10 trucks. From just doing water, pure water to doing bottled water to manufacturing the nylon, importing the nylon from China. Then we had like this printing stuff where we print our nylon ourselves. Our competitors also come to like print from us. So that gave me like a hardcore running a company, like a proper company with a lot of employees, right? I go to the field with them. I follow these drivers to all the villages in Niger State is so big. I follow them to all these places. We sell water, make millions a day from pure water. So I had that hardcore. Then I have a very strong team for technology in the midst of all of that company eventually got sold, by my uncle, and he made a lot of money. I had some cash out, I had some share of that money as well. So I've always like just had this entrepreneurship thing. I set up a company after then for IT consulting, installation, different stuff. Was bringing things from China and was making some very good money. All this before I even came to Futa, by the way. So that exposure, books. I learned about shares and stock before I even clocked maybe 13 or 14. At 15, I've started like buying shares of company. Just look for a brokerage company, and I have 20 guys. Tell them to buy me shares of this bank, buy me shares of that bank. So a lot of time when I talk, people see me like I'm this very old guy. So, but I feel like the oldness in quotes is a function of the books that I've read, is a function of the exposure. So I learned about stock market. I read about all these guys in America. I read their books and see that they make money from the stock market.
Let's
What's the equivalent
let's
in
go let's
Nigeria?
go
How,
deep into let's go
you know,
deeper into these books. Can you mention one? Maybe let mention three books that you say impacted your life squarely, and maybe give like a brief a summary on the things you pick from them.
ah, one of them, the first one that I always recommend if you work with me or join my company, I would likely give you that book. Is Who Moved My Cheese? Who Moved My Cheese? A very small book. You can finish it in 20 minutes. Who Moved My Cheese is all about change. It's all about adapting and evolving. It's all about realizing that sometimes the cheese that is here today will no longer be here tomorrow. You have to keep evolving, right? Change management. And when we think of change management, we always look at it from an organizational point of view, bring it back to ourselves. Life is changing. Yeah, the world is evolving, right? The cheese is going to move. What's making money today might not make money. What made your parents money, what made them relevant might not make them, might not make you relevant. Things are just changing. So who move my cheese? The second one is winning. Winning by Chief Kira. It's a very powerful book. Let me tell you how powerful that book is. The person that gave me that book as a birthday gift, ever since we've been friends, I've never benefited anything like from her, so to speak. But I've done several things for her, like a lot of things. And maybe she doesn't understand why. The only reason is that I feel indebted that somebody gave me that book and I'm trying to pay back in every way possible. If she calls me now, If she calls me now that Wale, she's not in Nigeria, that can you help me do something in Lagos? 9 out of 10 is a yes. 9 times out of 10 times is a yes. Because of that book, she doesn't understand. The whole idea of that book is that winners don't do different things. Winners do things differently. Winners, people that are winning, they are not doing anything magical.
Different.
They are not doing things. They are just doing things differently. They are doing the same thing that everybody is doing. They are working. They have businesses. They have a family. They sleep. They have 24 hours. They are not doing anything different. There's nothing mysterious about them. Trust me, there's nothing mysterious about them. There's nothing mysterious about anybody that you know. There's nothing mysterious between that guy that has 5.0, right? Because we human beings we like mysteries. We used to like believe some people are heavy, we know. Yes, yes, yes. There are a few people like that. Don't outline it. Trust me, a lot of people, 99.9% of human beings, we are all ordinary. But among the ordinary, you see some people that have extraordinary results. The reason they have those results is not because they do different things. No, they only do things differently. I will give you an example. The guy that has a first class and the guy that doesn't, they attend the same school, they attend the same lecture, they use the same handouts to train them, they give them the same assignments, they start for exam in the same day, the same venue, they give them the same question, they release results the same day. School resume for both of them the same day. School vacated the same day. Matric is the same day. Convocation is the same day. NYC is the same day. POP is the same day. So these people are not doing anything. So, but what they are doing is that they are doing things differently. I'll give you an example. We all have lectures for 8 o'clock. All of us will show up. A first class student can probably say, okay, I will do 30 minutes study before that class so that I'll be able to ask sensible questions. After the class, the parent can also say, the next 30 minutes, I will go through everything that I've learned and I will try to summarize it so that it sticks. That is the part of doing things differently. They are not doing anything different, but they are doing their own things in a different way. So I read that book and it really shaped my life that okay, I can do everything that everybody else is doing, but I can do it differently. Everybody have that power. Once you know yourself, uh, you start to know and that is it. I don't think that again I will reference my time in Futa. I don't think there's any department in Futa where you receive 10 hours of lecture in a day, 5 days a week. You can say Futa is harder than check your timetable, like you receive 10 hours of lecture back to back. For example, 10 hours of lecture is 8 to 6 p.m. non-stop. Then you do it every day. So my question to myself then, okay, so what can I do differently from every other student? So I use that break period to do something, to learn something, to pick up a freelancing gig. So I will get the gig, do it for 2 hours, get paid some $100. I will still come for the next lecture. I will still sit in front. So all of us as students, we are doing the same thing. But we are doing the same thing, we are doing it in a different way. So that book changed my life. Winning by Shakira. I think I have several books by the way. One book that is also very instrumental for me is by um, Know Your Limits. Know Your Limits is the counterintuitive where it tries to tell you that hey, you don't have a limitation, but at the same time you have a limitation. You don't have a limitation because you can practically achieve anything. At the same time, you have a limitation because there are things you can do naturally for 8 hours, and there are things that if you do it for 1 hour, it will wear you out. There are things that if you do them for 8 hours, you will be tired. There are things that if you do them for 1 hour, you will be tired. So it's on you to know those things. A lot of people optimize for their weakness. They are always trying to work over their weakness. They're always trying to, this is my weakness and what's improve. They don't optimize for their strengths. They have a strength, leave it. They focus on their weakness. And for 5, 10, 20 years, they are trying. The whole idea is that nowhere you're strong, eh, nowhere you're not too strong. And that's where you partner. That's where you have a team. That's where you delegate. Nobody in this world, nobody is all in all. The moment you accept that, you will now start saying that by the time you start to partner with people, there's no limitation to anything that you can achieve. And I think one last one that I would like to mention is 80-20
Different.
principle. This is popular Pareto principle. It's so
It's
profound.
so profound.
See,
Hmm.
it's, all the results you have in your life is responsible. 20% of what you do is responsible for all the results. In marketing, 20% of your customer give you 80% of your revenue. In life, 20% of if you allocate your, so I'll give you a good example. For those of us that are Christian and spiritual, how many hours of your 24 hours do you spend praying? I don't think it's up to 20%. But 20% would be like 4.8 hours. But that small time that you spend to pray is responsible for all the favor that you receive, all the protection. When I got that principle, when I understood it, I started looking for the 20%. Because honest, let me do the 20%. If 20% is responsible for 80% of my household, let me do it more. And then there's a book we talked about yesterday on Twitter, 48 Laws of Power.
You want, more people don't want men to read. They said tyrannical men read it.
You see that's the thing. Books are so powerful. I don't blame those people. What you have in a book, a lot of time, if you cannot handle it, I don't recommend it.
Yes.
48 Laws of Power teaches you how to manipulate the whole world. You can manipulate people, right? The most powerful thing is the most powerful thing is not the sword, it's not the gun. The most powerful thing is book. You know, when I read 48 Laws of Power, again I read it before I finished secondary school
Wow. Before you finish
for the
secondary
first time.
school?
I was going to, yeah.
Oh.
And all the people I've learned about Alexander the Great, Julius Caesar, all these people, you start to see that how did they build so much influence? What do they do? And that book just broke everything.
No.
It broke everything. If you're occupying any leadership position, you need to read that book because you're dealing with people. You're dealing with different kind of people. You need to know when to appeal. You need to know when to surrender. People only see that book in like a very toxic
Yes,
way.
you need to even
If
know
you're a
when they want to
business
use
leader,
it against you. That's my point.
yeah,
People are going to use it against
you know what that's the point. So whether you know it or you don't know it, people that know it are going to use it against you. You need to know when to surrender. You need to know when to appeal to people. You need to know when not to outshine your master. Because every time you always have a master, every time you need to know how to outshine your master. You need to know how to build loyalty. You need to know how to make people loyal to you. You need to know how to be loyal to people. You need to know what to do with your enemies because we always have enemies, right? You need to know when to completely destroy your enemy. And you need to know when to bring your enemy close and give them a chance. No, so this thing is practical living. Everybody, there's no family without conflict now. There's one uncle that your mommy is warning you against. That something, don't go to their house. If you go there, don't eat or if you do this. You know. So I really found that book. There's also the art of war. I enjoyed it, a lot. Business at the Speed of Thought by Bill Gates, a lot of books have shaped my life. The story of Pablo Escobar, for instance, really, 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 people see Pablo Escobar from the criminal point of view. So when you know how organized structure that drug cartels have, you as a business person, you need to go and learn from them. The story of Pablo Escobar. There's also a story I read there. Son son of Hamas. So in the story of Hamas, this terrorist thing that is happening now, the issue with Israel. Again, I read books in like some 2007, and everything that is playing out now with Israel and Hamas, everything is in that. So I just think books. I can't emphasize it. I can't emphasize it enough. So that's what growing up. Futa was phenomenal. Futa was just. I met a lot of people, in Futa. I met a mentor in Futa that he was making a lot of money online. People were calling him Yahoo boy, this, that. Again, because I had an exposed mind, I've been on computer and internet for years. I've read books. I knew that it was possible to like make legit money online without fraud. So while people were calling him this, people were calling him gay, that is all it. I just walk up to him, Shegun, this. You can't be a Christian and be fraud. And he just told me clearly, Wale, if you have a skill, I will put you on. In 3 days, I got my first job, on the internet. In the next 1, 2 months, I'd made like my first 2 or 3 million as a bloody 100 level student in Futa, with my skill. It's not some daddy mommy gave me money or somebody dashed me money. So I met him, we became friends, became my mentor. And when I made those monies, I was feeling fly like, hey, as an 100 level student, you could do something and they will send you an ATM card, you will go and withdraw that. I remember GTB Gallery, I was on that queue when I got my Pioneer card to just test whether it was working. And I pressed 5K, it came out, and I wanted to leave. And I felt like, maybe these guys don't go come on their money back. And I was withdrawing, and I had a lot of money. And I put the money on the table. I didn't know what to do with it, but I just felt fulfilled that, look, I have value
Yes.
that can command this kind of money, you know. And in the midst of that euphoria, feeling myself, ordering things for my siblings and parents, I went to Shegun and I was like, okay, this, I'm now the king. And I was like, okay, so when are you going to make your first $50,000 from this freelancing? 50K? No, I'm really, I'm very okay. But what do you mean 50? So, but like he opened my mind that it's possible. You can make 5K, you can make 50K, and he set that target, and I hit it before 200 level, and just started going. I didn't miss all my lectures and all these things. My friends didn't change. My friends were still my friends. My lifestyle didn't probably change in any significant way. Yeah, of course, I had cars and food. I had a driver. I started the company. I started Zafrak food and stuff. So, but all these things seem to wow. I'll keep tracing it back to one thing: the power of books. Michael Dell started his company at 19 years old. The Dell you know today, it was started at 19 years old. General Kumon led that Biafra civil war as a 30 years old man. General Gowon was already the head of state of Nigeria as a 30 years old. All the Obasanjo, all the coups they led those, maybe Obasanjo was
Yeah, we
32
were
or
all
35,
young.
So when I had access to that material, all those books, my perspective about age, about time, about it just shifted. Like somebody was leading like civil war, one of the biggest history in Nigerian history. And the person that led that thing, do you know how long that thing has happened? And the man is still alive, till today. How old was Abacha when they seized power? Theophilus Danjuma, how old were these people? Michael Dell, how old were they? Steve Jobs, how old was he when he started? All these people. Obama, how old was he when he became a senator? Rotimi Amechi, how old was he? Wiki, how old was he when he was a chairman? So if you look at all these people, one thing was the same for all of them. And it was the fact that they started early. They didn't buy the whole Nigerian narrative of, oh, you're still young, you're still like ages. It's not just a number. Age is not just a number, by the way, but it's what you put into those years that really determine how old you are. It's not that age, it's not, oh, you are 40, you are older. Those 40 years, what went into it? Those 40 years, what did you put into it? What books, what experiences do you have, right? That's what truly determines how old. The age thing is just like a numerical value because we want to hold your record, on our birth register that you were given birth to at so time. So those books really shaped me. uh, I read Business at the Speed of Thought. Oh my God. the enterprise of the future, the AI, the tech, and everything was predicted in that book. And boom. So it opened my mind. Futa was phenomenal. I had fun with Futa. Like, I was in school on my own terms. I wasn't studying. I understand computing. I understand the course I did. I did the course deliberately. I
Really.
know I wasn't chasing it. I wasn't chasing A or chasing B. And I think that's the way education should be. Like people should live on their own terms. People should like have a fulfilled. I did a very solid project that I went to defend in Rome. I went to defend it in Bangkok. That got I published. And so I just feel like everything for me was traceable to just good education, uh, access to books, access. I can't say it enough. Of course, there are a lot of other divine factors, that I'm not going to. The gene you inherit can also be an unfair advantage. The environment you grew up can also be an unfair advantage. The resources your parents, because I remember my first laptop, the hard disk was 32 gig. And then I went to school to tell my friend that I have a laptop and it's 32 gig, and they gave me a name that me Bobo Master. That how can something be 32 who be the 32 gig is? Then one gig memory card was gold.
Yes.
The year I so having access to those privileges to like
You
really
can you
really
can see
contributed.
books, and I've seen books. I've seen the power of books. I have a friend. He was depressed, totally depressed. Though this somebody that was like he had an issue with relationship, and I just went to the bookstore and I bought books for him. I just bought him these common books, 5 a.m. Club, 12 Rules for Life, this common self-help book. I just bought the two, and I knocked on his and I gave him those books. And he said he's going to read them. And he actually read them, and we just spoke about the books. I said, he learned this, learned that. Most of the time, when I want to teach people things, I don't tell them. I always find the book that I learned that thing from, and I'll just go buy it and give it to them because I believe you might not want to learn it from me, maybe your ego, or I'm not there yet as somebody that can teach you stuff. So, especially my friends, I always try to play that game, for the loss of power and co. I just be like, I'm not a very rich person. You might not want to listen to me, I know, of course. But when you buy a book and you read it from the author and you discover it yourself, you will most
Yeah,
likely believe it. Then they'll come and tell me about, they discovered this, and I'm very happy when they discover what I actually planned for them to discover. And this person broke away from the whole depression thing and is sitting web 3 now. He's doing about $500,
wow.
$500 a month. I was just happy for him because he was on a clear path
Yeah.
to ruin. He was on a clear path to destruction. Just drinking alcohol
Hmm.
and just doing drugs.
Books are
Yes.
powerful. Books are
So yes,
powerful. If I have a superpower, if I had a superpower that okay, I should enact a national policy, I think one thing that will solve our problem as a nation, we have to go back to a reading nation. Not a reading nation for school, not school book, because we are one of the most educated race in the world. We have plenty masters. I'm not saying that kind of book. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like making reading a part of our lifestyle. Let's go back to teaching our kids with the Alawiye, iṣẹ́ lóògùn iṣẹ́, múra ṣíṣe ọ̀rẹ́ mi, ẹni ayé ń yẹ lónìí, kó jọ̀ọ́ kó ṣera ẹ̀ jẹ́jẹ́ ní ìgbà ń dùn fún. Think about these things that these were the things they taught me in the rhymes. Iṣẹ́ lóògùn iṣẹ́, passing a value to you. Múra ṣíṣe ọ̀rẹ́ mi, ìyá rẹ lè lówó lọ́wọ́, bàbá rẹ lè láṣọ lẹ́ṣẹ̀ lọ́kàn, tó bá gbójúlé wọn ó pẹ́ tán, ìyá ń bọ̀ fún ọmọ tí ò gbọ́n. You know, these were the books we were reading. We had Alawiye, the story. So, but we've replaced all those things now with Coco Melon. We've replaced them with, we've replaced them with, rhymes that doesn't edify in any way. Children don't read like they used to. Adults are not setting good examples. So everything we are not even reading our history. We don't know anything, right? An average Gen Z does not know Two Face. Two Face is not dead. He's not even
yeah,
60 years old because we don't read. We just lost that reading
culture,
culture, somewhere along the
honestly.
line. So I think if we can bring it back nationally, we'll have like
Well,
a better society.
okay, let's talk about your founder experience before we start wrapping up. I'm enjoying the conversation. We could go 2 hours. Honestly, yeah, I'm learning from it. Most of the time when I tell people the reason why I'm doing this podcast, I'm doing it for myself. They always look like, no, I'm doing it for myself because the people I'm talking to, they're just people I talk to every day, or I read their tweet and I try to learn from them. Those are just the people. It doesn't necessarily mean they are my senior or my junior. If I'm just an interesting person that I think you've said a lot of things online that I've read about, I'll just come and talk to you because I just know I'm going to learn a lot, and that is how I'm planning to live my life continuously. Just to talk to somebody every week. Then I'm thinking, but I've written down a lot of things that you have said now. I'm using them for myself. So, but let's talk about your founder experience. You always say something about people are your biggest assets, people are your biggest liability. And I know that because working with some
Yeah.
of my clients, also working as any position I am, I operate as the CEO. I learned that from a book. I swear, like I say, I will pray that you see you. That's why most of the time I see you always be like, Ola is very difficult to work with. But she always be like, oh, but he knows his stuff. He knows his stuff. Because sometimes if I don't go with the rules, I still end up the means will justify the end will justify the means. So we just be like, okay, let's leave him. So I always operate like the CEO most of the time, which I learned because if you want to be a CEO in the future, you have to start now in your team build capacity, leading yourself and go. But can you talk about your founder experience? How are people your biggest liability? How are they your biggest asset?
Ah, so like overall, right? I feel like my the sentiment around my post around startup founders on Twitter, I don't think it's so exciting if you want to like do a sentiment. I think it's brutal because in the real sense, this founding startup thing is not glamorous. That's that's the truth. Because you're trying to invent something that's never existed. You're trying to create, you're trying to be in a class of God that say, oh, let us create this thing, right? You are also coming and saying, oh, let us create this service. You are coming and saying something is missing. You are coming and saying something should exist that will make this thing better, right? Every time you want to create anything in chemistry, the thought order is a combination of energy. If you want to turn water to ice, you need energy that will increase or that will reduce the temperature. If you want to take yam from raw to cooked, you need energy, fire, combustion has to happen.
Yeah,
If you want to turn that cooked yam to pounded yam, you need energy, right? So that is what startup is mostly about. So it's not as glamorous as people like to make it seem. For founders, what does it mean? It means that you do the most boring part of the company. Every other thing that is working in the company is always delegated. The moment you figure something out, you delegate it. The moment something is working, what comes to your table 9 out of 10 times is what is not working, what is not happening, what needs to happen, right? You are always futuristic. So that work is not glamorous. It's very hard for you to see GP or Flutterwave or Shola or Paste if you're really, really, really doing the work. Because this thing is work. People fancy the title. So but my experience has really like shown me that one, this thing is very difficult, but it's very fulfilling. To create something that creates value for one person, now for two persons, now 100 persons. Now we have power to use by thousands of people. It's magical. Like it's magical. Like ETF is probably 2005. Like I created something that everybody in ETF like they are using and they love. Oh my god. Like you're solving a problem, you're creating jobs. People are finding their value and their purpose in what you have created, right? Like somebody went to school to study marketing. This person loves marketing and we now created something that will give this person an expression. It's not about the money alone, like an expression of their gifts, of their talent, of their creativity, it's just magical. Like a customer walks in having a problem and that customer leaves smiling like you solve this customer's problem. Oh my god. So I think that's probably the most fulfilling part of it. I think entrepreneurship is a calling, just like ministry, like pastor. Yes, you can have a business, you can have this, but I mean like proper hardcore entrepreneurship. You want to build, and you look at that what you think is the money. His family has been the richest for
Yes.
generations. Does he want the money? Yes. So, but at his age, truly, 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 what does he want to buy? What does he want now that he can't afford? But he's still doing more. I see people like that, like there are people sent to nations. You remove Dangote from Nigeria, there will be no cement, there will be no sugar, there will be no spaghetti. A lot of things, will just be missing. If Dangote tells you the process of creating those values is fun, I think he's lying. I think like every day you're always fighting one battle, you're always up against something, you always want to achieve something, you are waiting for one approval, you're waiting for one hire to join your team, you are waiting for one strategy to start working, you are always waiting. So it's a challenging, it's a difficult thing, right? But it's very, very, very fulfilling. People are your biggest asset. People are your biggest asset because you have this vision in your head. But this vision, most of the time, is bigger than what only you. In fact, you don't even have the details. I'll give an example. I want to build an app called Parents. I know a few things, but I need like a lot of people. I need a developer, I need a front end, I need like different people. So people become your assets. In your difficult time, especially as a startup founder, you're going to have this slow season when things won't peak. Sometimes you're bored at home, I've not paid my team or something, something. And in the midst of that, you're going to see like one, 2% that will just go way far and beyond. My office had got once before, uh, 2019 in Akure here. When it was happening, people didn't let me enter. People held me and people went inside to put up the fire. People went in from ground floor carrying water to second floor. People were running to the back of the building to look for water and soap, right? I didn't have to do anything. People are your biggest assets. Every vision, no matter how small or big, is a function of the people. It's people that will accomplish it. What I always try to make sure is that there's always something in it for them too. Their own vision also has to be accomplished in accomplishing mine. So in several ways, people will just be your, about employees that you tell them, oh, it's fine, and they will tell you, oh, we have to deliver this thing tomorrow. So they will stay behind. And it's not like you're paying one fantastic out of this world, salary. So it's not for the salary. Now, people are your biggest problem too. Because you're going to have people that will frustrate you. You're going to have people. God sends people, devil sends people. Everybody that claims they've seen demon, 80% of the time is imagination. Everybody that's claimed they've seen angel, 80% of the time is imagination. So God sends angel, or those angels are people. The devil sends demon, those demons are people. So you're going to have people that would almost take your company to the ground. You're going to have people that make you question like action recipe. You're going to have employees that no matter what you do for them, they are never going to appreciate it, no matter the opportunity they throw it back at you. So, and they are also going to make mistakes that will cost you clients, that will cost you money, that will cost you reputation. You can't avoid it. They will make mistakes, they will learn at your expense, and when they are done learning, right, they are going to leave. So, which is not bad, which is another thing I think founders need to like accept. This thing is a journey. You are the only person going on that journey. People are just joining you on the way. Somebody will join you from here to already. The person will drop because the person has to go to probably Ilaje. You are going to Lagos. Some persons will join you from that already, and you guys will go like all the way together to Lagos. So people are just your biggest assets. They are your biggest liability as well. But you always need assets and liabilities anyway. I mean, you can't run from the assets and liability. There will always be assets. There will always be liability. Identifying them, knowing who your assets are, and sometimes liability over time can become assets. That's the funniest thing about this whole thing. People come into the organization, they are problematic, they are not team players, this, that, that. Over time, something happened. It might be a chat, it might just be anything. You know, it has taught me a lot of delayed gratification. The whole start of founding thing, because just think about that 20 million you want to splash on the car. How many months' salary is it going to pay for your team? You just learn to like delay a lot. You pick up so many hats, unlike an employee that will say, "Oh, it's not on my job description." As a founder, everything is on your job description. You just have to, you just have to do it. So, but overall, it's been fun. I don't think there's anything else that I'll be doing with my life other than what I'm doing. And this might change maybe in 5 years, in 10 years, but like currently where I am now, I just think this is the most impactful thing that I've done. This is more, I have a foundation that I run, but like overall, I still think this entrepreneurship thing is the most impactful. People come to work, people have income, people have, I mean, people do so many things with this income. Some people are paying their rent, some are seeing their siblings through school, some are sending money home to their parents. These things give me joy. Customers are using our products, they are using our services, getting transfer. Yes, we are getting paid, but it's just beyond money, in my opinion.
Thank you. Thank you so, so much. It's been awesome talking to you.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed myself talking to you. I enjoyed myself. I'm intentionally just trying to keep this thing between 1 hour for now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't want it to be as like 3 hours for now.
I have to
I
go
get
to work
you.
too.
So,
So,
but I always do this thing at the end of my show. I'll ask this question, this or that question. You just give me one. You just pick one of it. Are you ready?
okay.
Okay.
Sure.
Excel or Google Sheets?
Excel.
Haru or Python?
Hard.
Twitter or LinkedIn?
Twitter. Twitter.
Moses or Jobs in the Bible?
Ah, that one is hard though. Ah, it's hard. It's hard. Uh, it's very hard.
Okay.
Wait,
Eba.
let's keep Amala.
Okay. Egusi or Eforiro?
For real.
Books or podcast?
Ah, it's hard because I consume both like in large quantity.
Okay.
But if I have to choose compulsorily, I would choose
Okay.
books.
Steve Jobs or Bill Gates?
Steve
Apple or
Jobs.
Microsoft?
Steve Jobs. Apple, and Apple again.
Okay, okay. As we come to the end of the show, thank you so much, Wale Adeyemo. What will you leave us with?
Uh, okay. Don't take life too seriously. Life is fun. Try to live on your own terms. I mean, a lot of us are not living on our terms. I know there's a lot involved too. But try to aim to that point where you can live on your terms. Please, books are valuable. Like that's my mantra. If you want to change your life, there's nothing old school about reading. To the young man out there, don't let anybody make you feel like you don't have levels because you're taking your life seriously, because you're reading, because you're attending leadership academy, because you're adding value to yourself. I give you 5 years, all those questions will come back to ask you serious life questions, and you end up being mentors, the sum of them. What else? Please find purpose in everything you do. Try to find a bearing. A lot of us are traveling through life. We don't know. Yeah, we all don't know where we are coming from, but we believe it's heaven. But we should find a way. Where are we going to? Like a bearing. Find a purpose. Once you find it, go all in, and by the special grace of God, we all succeed. So that will be it from me. Thanks for having
Thank you
me.
so much. See you some other time. Bye.